Hello, I'm Andrea from the Creative Dream Incubator. This is day 4 of 30 days of creative journals, and you can already tell, I'm sure if you watched yesterday, that I'm feeling a lot more chipper today. I'm a lot more happy, and yay, I feel kind of refreshed. I even colored my hair this morning. I'm feeling like happy and kind of on and sort of reconnected to myself. And I just wanted to say one more time that the more you can give space to the more uncomfortable feelings. And yesterday I didn't believe in myself, and that's a really hard thing to feel. But I gave it space, and the more you can develop a practice of giving space to however you're actually feeling, the less those uncomfortable and hard feelings, the less power they have over you, the less space they start to take up in your life, and the easier it becomes to move through them and come back to a place where you are more connected to your truth, your actual, like, who you really are, because who you really are is always this, like, amazing, beautiful, creative being that can create anything, and that is wise and beautiful and strong and creative and all of these wonderful things. And it's okay if you don't feel that way every day. I don't think anyone does, right? So just that super important to just give space for however you're actually feeling. So I went to the beach yesterday afternoon, had a really nice time. I went with a friend who's also good at giving feeling space without judging them, without judging the situation that caused them, just like letting the feeling be. Not having to make up stories about it, not having to do anything with it, but just let it be there. It's a really, really beautiful thing. And so last night I got back to the beach. I was feeling much better. Still feeling overwhelmed though. And so when I'm overwhelmed, what I do, I go to my journal. This is what I did last night. I made a list of all the things I was feeling and all the things that were happening. So I do this every time I feel confused or overwhelmed. I make a list of everything that's happening, everything I'm feeling, everything that seems true, everything that seems important. Just list it all out. And there's usually a tremendous, tremendous relief in just looking at that list. And also you can start to pick out 1 or 2 or 3 things that feel more important, more true, more interesting for you. Just like, oh, this is what I want to focus on. So much easier to do this when you write that out. And also a lot of the uncomfortable feelings, you can kind of get a lot more clarity on why that's happening and what to do for yourself to help you to feel better. So that list of everything that's happening in this moment is super helpful. So that's all I did last night. And then this morning, I sort of put a box around it, and I was like, well, that was yesterday, but today I feel like I can do it. No, I know I can do it. And then I crossed out it, and I was like, I know I can do anything. So it was like, wow, I'm feeling really good, right? And then I added, but I have to actually do it, right? I can choose anything, but I have to get moving. And so that I need clarity, focus, and direction so that I can create momentum to move towards what I want. And then on the other page I wrote, well, what do I want? And so this is one of the questions that I get the most from people. It's about, how do I know what my dream is? And often maybe you start out knowing, and then along the way you kind of get confused, and then you don't know. And people get really upset, and rightly, because we feel like we're supposed to know what our dream is. We're supposed to know what we want at any given moment. I don't think that's possible. I know I often can't say with clarity what it is I want. Especially when you're looking at the outside creative dream, like, what do I want to create in my life? What I think is the only helpful thing to do is to focus on the qualities that you want. You can always find those. Right? So maybe I don't know what I want to do with this particular painting. I know that I want to feel inspired. I want to feel proud of what I've done. I want to feel like I'm stretching myself creatively. All of those feelings, that's where the real juice of the dream is anyway, right? So I wrote what I want. Aliveness is the main thing, and then I defined aliveness as flow, spaciousness, alignment, vibrancy. That's what I want. So when thinking about the specifics of what I want to create in my life to help me have that, does it matter? I don't think so. If something really matters, then you do know what it is, then you are clear. So then I drew kind of this picture of where I am, which is the fork. I feel like I'm at a fork, and so I sort of drew, this is the path the path I've been on can continue. And feels like there's this new opportunity opening up that I could take that goes here. And so I drew that out, and I just sat looking at it and was like, oh. So this path that I've been on all along, I mean, I'm not complaining. My life is awesome. Everything's, everything's, I have a lot to be grateful for. But this path that I've loved so much, over here, it starts to feel uphill and kind of rocky. When I just kind of imagine what this terrain looks like that I've drawn. But then when I look at the fork in the road, this terrain holds all of the qualities that I want. And then I wrote, so it's obviously time to change. This feels so sudden and unexpected. Because before a few days ago, I didn't know that I was at a fork in the road. I didn't know that I wanted to make all these changes. But it's sort of in exploring that disappointment that I was feeling, it's like, oh man, there's all these things that I actually want to be doing differently. And so that's like, that disappointment has tremendous, tremendous gifts in it. And then I wrote underneath that, oh my God, this is so sudden and unexpected. Underneath that, it feels exciting, hopeful, and right. So that was really cool to just suddenly realize that I'm at a fork in the road, and also, even though it's okay that that's really kind of jolting, it's nice to feel like it's right. Like this is a fork, a friendly fork. I can trust it. So I did this morning at a coffee shop. I like to go out in the mornings, and I did that writing, and then so then I wanted to put my vision on this paper. That's when I drew a line across where I had been writing, and I wanted to make all of this blue. So I put it aside so I could paint it blue when I got home, which I did. And next, I feel like I want to collage different qualities and words and things onto this blue. So I'll take a picture of that and share that later. What that journaling went into was digital journaling. I had my iPad with me, and I started to get really, really clear about what this fork in the road means and what it is that I want to change. So I and when I'm listing things like that are like, this is stuff I want to work on. Sometimes I do that in my journals and then just take a picture and then put it on my computer and you work from that in terms of creating plans. This morning I felt like I wanted to do all of that digitally, so that's what I did. I wrote out the details of the vision. All of a sudden, even though, as I shared earlier, when I wrote those qualities, I didn't really know what that meant in terms of tangible things, like this is what I want. Once I finished this and felt good about the fork, then I understood what all of those tangible things were, and I felt very precise and clear about it. So I wrote out the vision, this is everything that I want, and then I wrote out, here's the plan for all of these things, this is what I'm going to do. So a lot of the steps involved, I'm going to journal about this and get more clarity about what I want for this part, right? And then some parts I had ideas for how to act, but it was the start of a plan, which is pretty cool, pretty exciting. So lots happening. It feels like I'm really clearing out a lot of stuff inside of me and creating more space for clarity and getting and finding clarity, which is really cool. In only, this probably took half an hour this morning to write this out. Often I spend less time with my journal. Sometimes, I think 15 minutes is fine, 15 minutes a day. It's just amazing if you stick with it, how much change you can create in yourself and in your world through this kind of practice. Love it. I'm really excited about it. I'm happy now to be sharing it with you, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.